factor analysis on customer intention to use electric vehicle in Indonesia. So, Mr. Indra, are you present?
Uh, Good afternoon, Mr. Adit. I would like to. I will be the one who
Oh, okay.
present this paper. So, okay.
Okay, Mr.
Let me
February, ready.
prepare my slide a little bit.
Yes, you have 10 minutes of presentation.
Sure, sure. Okay. So, is the screen shown properly?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
we
thank you
can
very
see.
much, Mr. Adit. So, thank you very much for the opportunity. Today, I would like to present our research entitled Factor Analysis on Customer Intention to Use EV in Indonesia. So, basically, what I'm going to present today is kinda a little bit not really technical like what the other presenter present earlier, and I've divided this presentation into 5 parts. The first part is regarding the background of this study. So basically, like, well, previous researcher, previous presenter already presents that seems like EV is going to be here, and then the trend is growing. Moreover, if we see from the perspective of combustion engine or traditional vehicles, like they consume petrol, and we as Indonesia as one of the petrol producer, seems like we're not really able to close the gap between what we can consume and what we can produce. Seems like and the data shown that since 2003, 2 or 3, we consume more than we can produce. So therefore, we are importing the oils from others country. So in this case also, it means that the the utilizations of EV is going to be here sooner or later. But now the question is, how can we make it faster? One of the ways to understand the consumer side of it. Okay, so in order to address these issues on how what are the driving factors to customer intention to use EV, and so that later they can uh, uh, actually using it. We're trying to use social science approaches in which there are several sets of uh, um, theory that being the background of this combination of theory. We're using three theory which based on the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology, the theory of planned behavior, and also we adopt some perceived risks that may involve along this that has been reported also contribute to this theory. So combining this theory, we're hoping that we can have um, some comprehensive analysis on what are the main driving factors of consumer, especially in Indonesia, on their intention to use electric vehicles. So uh, the research is done by spreading some questionnaires to several major cities in Indonesia, start from Jakarta, several major city in Java like Jakarta, Surabaya, Bandung, and others. also some representative city from other islands such as Medan in Sumatra, and Makassar, and Palembang also in Sumatra, and others. So basically what we are trying to to show you is that if we can somehow get several representatives from major city in Indonesia, we are hoping that this can give us quite a nice insight, at least that can be utilized for the near future of predicting consumer behavior of intention to use EV. And in total 526 data were collected. Uh, and then the way we design the questionnaire is based on several reference that already been reported earlier. So this way, by utilizing a framework that's already been available and reported by previous researchers, we're hoping that the questions that being asked is not very far from the variables that intend to be measured. So we know that it's difficult to measure some qualitative factors such as intention to use, and then attitude towards some things, and then the risk, the perceived risk, something like that. But several study has mentioned that this type of questionnaires somewhat with enough data collected is able to comprehensively review those we call it in social science latent factors, or factors that is not being able to measure using objective measurement approaches. Okay, well, even though that's already being well defined by previous studies, and we just borrow the concepts and then combine it with several theoretical frameworks, but still, after we get the result of the survey, we still need to conduct the validity and then the reliability check on those results. So we're using three type of threshold, such as factor loading calculation, construct reliability, and then average variance extracted values. And the initial model seems to be like having some trouble on several questions. Perhaps it's because the translated question from English to Indonesia have some issue, or some respondent could not understand those type of questions. So we eliminate those questions that is not easy to be understood, and then we got the final models. Based on this final model, we conduct the
I'm sorry, Mr.
goodness of
Prawira,
fit.
your time is 2 minutes left.
Okay. Then let's just go up to the result, where now the result shown here is the final model, where intention to use of electric vehicle, especially for Indonesian customer, mostly affected by three main things: the attitude of the customer towards the utilization of EV, the subject norm, how convenient or how normal the EV is already, and then the perceived behavior control, especially based on the is there any facilitating condition in their area or not, such as the charging station and stuff. We are more concentrate on the attitude, or what drive the attitude to use EV. Here we have several factors, including price, of course. The cheaper the price, the more intention people to use the EV. And then surprisingly, hedonic motivations also become one of the determining factors. Mean that if you have your social circles start using EV, you are start to have a positive attitude towards it, and the rest is like the normal things like effort expectancy, performance expectancy. And in terms of risk, it's like again it's confirmed with the hedonic motivation, which is perceived social risk. It's like Indonesian customer has, we call it in nowadays terms FOMO, or fear of missing out. Okay, I think let's wrap up the discussion into this presentation into a conclusion where we have defined models to analyze what kind of factors affecting Indonesian customer to use intention to use EV. And I think this result can be utilized further if we somehow have the opportunity to discuss it with the authority, like governmental authority or industry that is in particular have the needs of understand more about the consumer behavior of Indonesian customer to use EV. I think that's wrap up my presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Adit, for the time.
Okay, thank you very much for the interesting presentation, Mr. Perwira Reddy. Is there any question from the audience? You can type it on the chat box or you raise your hand. Okay, so this is more into social science studies, right?
Yes.
So